Hello and welcome. You are watching UATV News with me, Ksenia Bugay. First, this hour, the latest developments from Ukraine. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the number of COVID-19 cases among Ukrainians has exceeded 1 million people. Over the past day, 11,419 new cases of infection were recorded in the country. At the same time, almost 16,000 patients have recovered. 2,721 people were taken to hospitals. 223 people died. Most of all new cases are in the capital and Zaporizhia, Odesa, Kyiv and Donetsk regions. The Ministry of Health of Ukraine said that the first vaccines against coronavirus are expected in Ukraine at the end of the first quarter of 2021.
Вони будуть іти траншами.
They will be sent in tranches corresponding to the first tranche, which we expect, that is some 1 or 2 million doses of vaccines. In addition, we are currently working upon increasing the general quota from 8 million to 16 million doses. We are also actively working with other vaccine manufacturers.
Countering Russian aggression and strengthening of the security of our country will remain among the top priorities of Ukrainian diplomacy in 2021. This was stated by Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine Dmytro Kuleba. Besides, next year the ministry will be also struggling against the coronavirus pandemic, manage the launch of the Crimean platform, attract investments, and contribute to the development of green energy. At the same time, Dmytro Kuleba called achievement of the principles of peaceful coexistence a short-term goal in relations between Ukraine and Russia.
Короткострокова мета.
The short-term goal in our relations with the Russian Federation is to reach the principle of peaceful coexistence. But we understand that Russia will not change even if we achieve this result, and Russia's strategic goals for Ukraine will remain unchanged.
Environmental violations can now be reported directly to the Ministry of Environmental Protection. It has launched a telephone hotline. Officials say they receive about 150 calls every month. Now it will be easier for Ukrainians to get the necessary information. Everyone can call the hotline on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Кожен може зателефонувати і отримати.
Everyone can call and get information about the state of the environment or check whether a company has permits. One can also know how to act in case of an unauthorized landfill, in case of detection of facts of violations of environmental legislation. Operators will draw up documents in case of an appeal and send them for processing to the relevant specialists.
Return of the relique. After the official note of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, the Foreign Ministry of the Russian Federation returned a rare Ukrainian icon to the Embassy of Bosnia and Herzegovina to remind on December 14th, head of the Presidium of Bosnia and Herzegovina presented Russian Foreign Minister with a 300-year-old gilded icon. The Ministry of Culture of Ukraine found out that the seal on the reverse side of the image is Ukrainian, dated back to 1930. Earlier, the rarity was in temporarily uncontrolled Ukraine, Luhansk. The Embassy of Ukraine appealed to the Bosnian authorities with a demand to start an investigation into how the relic got to the territory of the Balkan Peninsula. The draft on legalizing of the medical cannabis in Ukraine is already submitted to the parliament. Initiators of the document say that more than 2 million patients are in need of this drug. This concerns, in particular, cancer patients and those requiring palliative care, kids with epilepsy and military men suffering from PTSD. MP stressed that the control of the medical cannabis turnover would be as strict as ever. First of all, we have to stress that only a doctor should prescribe this drug. The prescription would be made on a special red card. A special register of all the prescriptions would be created as well. That is, all the processes would be controlled online. The National Police, Internal and Health Ministries, as well as the State Service on Medicines and Drugs Control, would be in charge of it. Up next, the National Guard officer from Kherson became the world champion in powerlifting among the military, being head of the local medical unit. He treats military during the day and trains in the evening. My colleagues will tell you more about the unusual sports hobby of the serviceman.
Apparently, you're a little nervous now because your blood pressure is 140/90. He measures blood pressure and treats the injuries. Andriy Boyko chairs the medical service of the military unit. He's been serving in the National Guard for the last 4 years. And this video shows another part of Andriy Boyko's life, the Powerlifting World Cup. It took place 2 weeks ago in Lutsk. Squat, bench press and deadlift. In the sum of 3 exercises, the National Guard officer lifted 670 kilograms and became the world champion. During those competitions, I surpassed the last world record by squatting with a weight of 280 kilograms, which is a record among the military. Now the world and European champion Henri is demonstrating his numerous medals. He has been involved in sports since childhood. This is his hobby. While his profession is medicine, he graduated from 2 medical universities and became a military following his father. Since my father is a military man, and given the turmoil that started in my country when I was a student at a civilian university, I decided to go to military medicine to combine things that are pleasant for myself and useful for society. Andriy trains after his work, twice a week on the sports ground of the military unit. Another 3 days he spends in the gym. 6, 7, 8... His colleagues say they learned that the world champion is serving with them from the news.
I learned about it from the internet. Andriy did not tell us anything at work. I'm very proud that he took this prize. It's very cool.
We see how he trains on the sports ground. We often come here to train with him because he is an example for us. He shows that one can combine both military service and sports. The next Powerlifting World Cup will be held in Poland in 2021. Andriy is already preparing to defend his champion title. Reported by Vadim Kramer and Yanina Lebedeva, UATV News.
The state environmental inspection started regular raids on Christmas tree markets in Kyiv. Together with police officers, they check the validity of documents and examine all the goods. Hundreds of hectares of forest are cut down annually before the New Year and Christmas holidays. Our correspondents found out how to buy a legally cut tree.
A week before the New Year, Ukrainians are in a hurry to buy a pine or fir tree for the holiday.
I like it and bought it. I brought it home and enjoyed it. It stands with us before Epiphany. We have a family tradition to shake the tree with sweets for the All New Year fest.
The smell of the real trees is the one people want. It brings a New Year spirit. Ukrainian spruce can be bought for some $14–17. A good one costs $17–18. For the same price, you can buy a 2-meter-high pine tree, which is even better. Citizens should choose a tree attentively. On the eve of New Year holidays, many illegal spruce markets appeared. There are barcodes on every tree. There is a special program for smartphones to check the tree. It shows that the tree was not stolen, but was grown and cut legally by a forestry. When they are cut, we bring them here, and foresters there plant another one. One can check the number of each tree on the website of the State Agency for Forest Resources. If the tree is not registered, then it was cut legally, and the perpetrator should be punished. The administrative fine makes from $18 to $60, and the illegal trees are confiscated. Last year, after the state environmental inspection checked the sale points, they revealed losses amounting to almost $25,000. This means hundreds of thousands of trees were cut and sold illegally. Ukrainian forestries prepared 520,000 trees for sale. Some of them were cut while caring for the forest, and some trees were grown on plantations especially for the holiday. Fir trees that will not be used will be sent for processing and animal feed. Reported by Vadim Kramer and Artem Holub, UATV News.
National dishes, hot drinks and sweets On the eve of Catholic Christmas, a charitable market was opened on the territory of the Lutheran Church in Odesa city. Due to quarantine restrictions, it is held outside. All the money earned at the fair will be used to buy Christmas gifts for children from orphanages and boarding schools. The fair will last until December 27th.
Все в немецком стиле.
We carry out everything in German style. We have German pastries. We adhere to German cuisine. There are a lot of kinds of German sausages. Of course, due to the quarantine, all the indoor events were cancelled. But we will hold an organ music concert for free. And on behalf of UATV team, I want to send my best wishes for the upcoming Christmas. May the happiness of the holiday season be yours this day and in the new year. Wishing you happiness, peace and prosperity for the festive season and every day of the year. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. More updates on our official website, YouTube and Facebook pages.